Laurens Janszoon Koster, ca. 1370, Haarlem, the Netherlands, ca. 1440, or Laurens Jans Koster, is the name of a purported inventor of a printing press from Haarlem. He allegedly invented printing simultaneously with Johannes Gutenberg and is regarded by some in the Netherlands as having invented printing first. Biography: he was an important citizen of Haarlem and held the position of sexton, koster, of Sint-Bavo Kerk. He is mentioned in contemporary documents as an assessor, scabenis, and as the city treasurer. He probably perished in the plague that visited Haarlem in 1439–1440, his widow is mentioned in the latter year. There are no known works printed by Laurens. Junius Story Hadrianus Junius, otherwise known as Adrian de Jong, wrote this story around 1567 in his book Batavia, published only in 1588, and was quoted by Cornelis de. Now known primarily for his Emblemata, Junius moved to Haarlem in 1550, and wrote several books, acting shortly as the rector of the Latin school there, as the city physician and as historiographer of the states of Holland, as of 1565–66. His story was echoed by his friend Dirk Volkertzoon Korenhert, who started a printing business in Haarlem in 1560. Later Samuel Ampzing, with the help of Petrus Scriverius, repeated the story in Laverkrans voor Laurens Koster van Haarlem, Erstvinder van Bo Ekdrukkerij, 1628, with illustrations of the invention. According to Junius, sometime in the 1420s, Koster was in the Haarlemmerhout carving letters from bark for the amusement of his grandchildren, and observed that the letters left impressions on the sand. He proceeded to invent a new type of ink that didn't run, and he began a printing company based on his invention with a primitive typesetting arrangement using movable type. Since the Haarlemmerhout was burned during a siege by the Knimmers in 1426 during the Hook and Cod Wars, this must have been early in the 1420s. Using wooden letters at first, he later used lead and tin movable type. His company prospered and grew. He is said to have printed several books including Speculum Humani Salvationis with several assistants including the letter cutter Johann Fust, and it was this letter cutter Fust, often spelled Faust, who, when Laurens was nearing death, broke his promise of secrecy and stole his presses and type and took them to Mainz where he started his own printing company. Story by Ulrich Zell. There is support for the claim that Koster might be the inventor. In the anonymous Kölner Chronik of 1499, Ulrich Zell, a printing assistant from Cologne, who was then between the age of 60 and 69 years old, claimed that printing had started in Mainz. He based this statement on knowledge that Holland used to print Latin grammar texts, Donatus. Neither Koster nor Haarlem are mentioned in that chronicle. If true, this points to Johann Gutenberg about a decade after Koster's death. However, the first securely dated book by Dutch printers is from 1471, long after Gutenberg. Either way, Koster is somewhat of a Haarlem local hero, and apart from a statue on the Grote marked his name can be found in many places in the city. Earliest known Haarlem printer, between 1483 and 1486, Jacob Bellert worked in Haarlem. His books were known for their artistic woodcuts. Haarlem, Gouda, and Delft were all cities with early printing presses. This was because these cities did not have powerful religious institutions or universities, where competing copyist production, scriptoria, took place. Bellert did not enjoy much success, however, because there were few buyers for his books in Nederduits. Most people who could afford a book wanted it to be in French, since that was the common language of the ruling classes. Perhaps the strongest evidence in favor of Gutenberg is therefore that Mainz has in its possession today a first edition of Erasmus Loft der Zothheid, English translation, The Praise of Folly, which was written in Gouda, but printed in Mainz in 1511. The earliest printed book from the Netherlands that has been dated with any certainty is from 1473. It is in the possession of the Museum Meermanno Weestrenianum and was printed in Utrecht, not Haarlem.